we're now on the other side now.
Oh.
It's coming back to the mill again. There have been a lot of additions in the 60 years that you have been here.
Oh, crumbs, yes.
So what are the main changes have been for? Just to expand? Or for what other?
What they do is produce more.
Yes.
I mean, the mill now makes 13 or 14 times as much as they did when I first started.
Not surprising when you see the size of it today.
No, but it looks big, and yet the mill, actual mill itself is not that much bigger.
Is that so?
It's gone up a bit. No, it changed when we had a pneumatic system, really, and that was
What do the pneumatics do?
well, it was a new form of lifting. We had before belt and bucket elevators and worms,
Yes.
and they took up more room, and they weren't so efficient. But when they had a pneumatic system, that's when stuff is conveyed by air.
Yes.
And mind you, we had trouble was then, air would come in from outside, and if you didn't watch out, the door would come back and hit you on the back of the legs, because there was so much suction there.
Yes.
But it cooled all the stocks down, and it made the air was cleaner. Because when we had the first pneumatic, the production went up from about 16 to 26 bags an hour, and that was the start of things going higher.
How big is a bag?
A bag, 10 stone, 140 pound. Now it used to be 280. How a bloke can carry 280 pound, I don't know.
When did that change?
I don't know.
Before your time?
Before I worked there, anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
The water mill would have had conventional mill stones, presumably.
Oh yes, yeah.
How many stones?
Pairs
of stones?
They had 2 pairs of stones there.
2 pairs.
Yeah.
And did it ever work again after the war?
No.
Once it had run out.
Yeah, I think it deteriorated because you hadn't got the wood or even the money to rebuild. Yeah.
So once it had gone, it had
gone. Yes. I mean, actually, it wasn't profitable really because somebody got to look after it, and then it wasn't making flour. That's the main thing. Because during the war, the extraction went up. But before the war, it used to be about 71% extraction. I mean, you had to get 71 tonne of flour out of 100 tonne of wheat.
The rest being
offal. Yeah, offal. But now during the war, it went up to 85. So you had a darker flour.
Yes. And you were therefore getting the coarser.
You get coarse. That's it. Yeah.
The wheat head.
And the animals weren't so well off. Because before the war, they reckoned the animals had the best part of the wheat. They had the wheat germ, and now wheat germ is taken out separately now.
And what happens to wheat germ today?
Well, it used to go away somewhere to the bakers for brown bread. So I think you've seen sometimes on the wrappers, brown bread with added wheat germ.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other mill, the steam mill, did that have stones at all?
I don't think so.
You only knew it with...
As it is now, yes. I don't think it ever had stones.
What is the system now called? What is the system of grinding called?
Well, it's just a pneumatic mill now.
But yes, but rollers.
Or else a roller mill. It's probably called a roller mill, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these are steel rolls?
Steel rolls, yeah, yeah.
But they, you say, have not gone up as much in size as you might expect.
No, well, see, they grind heavy.
Yes.
They grind heavier than what they used to, and they go faster.
Yes. And that just increases productivity.
That increases, made a lot of difference.
Yes.
When we had we had this first pneumatic, which was rather funny. It was German material. And
this was what date? So just after the war? Or?
Yeah, we had ours installed in 1953. And previous year to that, one of the managers went over to some mill at Malden to have a look at this, and they were taken up by it and they decided to have it. But what I can't make out is how did Germany, after the hammer and they managed to develop something like that? It was very good stuff, heavy, good quality stuff, their machinery was.
Yes.
Now all that was just the pipes coming up, picking up the stuff from down below, going right up the top, through a cyclone, into an airlock and back down the machine.
And how many people did you have working under you when you were doing the top job?
I think there's 3.
But how many people were working in the mill altogether?
No, but I think there was 3. That's all it was there. 3 on a shift. Whereas then, before the war...
How many shifts, by the way?
4.
4, yes.
Yeah, you had, the latter part of the time, they changed things in 1967.
Yes.
You had this is something rather funny. Before the war, just after the war, it didn't pay to run weekends. But now, it doesn't pay not to run weekends.
Yes.
So they kept the mill continuously running. And with a 4-shift system, you had 1 shift off all the time. So you used to start work at the beginning of the week, and you used to work you used to work 3 weeks right off, then have a week off.
Yes. Weekends and all, you mean?
Oh yes, weekends, yeah. Well,
This is before the war or after? Because you were going to go back to before the war.
oh no, this was after the war.
After the war, yes.
When we took over by Allied Mill or Associated British Foods, which is part of the group we belong to now.
And which year was that?
We went over there in the end of 1961, I think.
61, yes.
Yeah.
And that's when you went on to the 4-shift system?
That's when, not exactly then, but we did the following
soon after.
5 or 6 years. Yeah, because we had a remodel in 1964, then we had a fire the following year, and then that started in 1967. Because when we had the fire, we was a bit curtailed with putting stuff anywhere,
Yes.
We had to make do, putting bags here and bags there and run stuff here, and until we got really a new building organised, we started a 4-shift system.
Yeah. And you said before the war, what was the shift system then?
Just 2 shifts.
What sort of hours were they?
Well, we had worked a 48-hour week that time of day. So the shifts started off with 2 shifts, 6 till 2 and 2 till 10.
Yes.
But during that time, the 2 till 10 shift had to come in mornings to make the time up, because during the week one shift didn't get the time in. So you had a system there and then, the day shift, like 6 till 2 shift. On a Monday, they worked 6 till 4. Then the next few days, they was 6 till 2, until Saturday was 6 till 12. But the 2 till 10 shift had 2 hours less on Monday, didn't they? Because they didn't come in till 4.
Yes.
So they only worked 6 hours on Monday. And 8 hours on Tuesday, 8 hours Wednesday, 8 hours Thursday and 8 hours Friday. But they had to come in 2 mornings a week for 5 hours each to make up the time.
What did you work on Saturdays?
The 2 to 10 shift didn't work at all. But I had to, as I was on day work then, I had to work 6 till 12.
Yes. So there was just mornings only on Saturday?
Mornings only, yeah.
And when, presumably you had other people who were maintaining the things, or was that done while it was working?
Well, you didn't have much of a maintenance gang in those days. You had 3 carpenters, that's all.
Yes.
3 carpenters, and the blacksmith, El Pepper, he had a shop there. Well, his job was mainly shoeing horses.
Yes.
And but he used to do maintenance. See, we had
his name was, you said?
El Pepper.
Elf?
He was there, El Pepper.
El Pepper?
El Pepper, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you spell that?
Hepfer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's, I think he's buried at Stanbridge Church.
Is he?
Oh, him and his wife. But he went to, I believe his daughter got married to a American sailor during the war. And afterwards, when he retired, he went over to America, and that's where he died. Him and his wife died over there. I think they actually were brought back to Stanbridge Church.
interesting that the strength of feeling
Yeah,
such you come back home again.
yeah.
What? Did you ever get married?
No.
No. And how you lived here by yourself, or did you have other people staying here as well?
Well, no, during the war, I've been here on my own up till recently.
Yes.
And it was just my mother here. She died in 1977. But otherwise, I've been here on my own.
Yes. There's no need to have lodgers or anything like that to...
No, no, no. I've got a couple of people living with me now, and they were... Well, he got made redundant, and she'd had an operation, so they were a little bit, you know, say up a creek, I suppose. Really, she wasn't all that strong, and he was a bit. But he lost his big work for arms wholesalers up London Road, Arturo Road, and he got made redundant because the firm just folded up.
Yes.
And he ain't got nowhere to go, so they come here. It suited them and suited me.
How long ago was that?
That'll be 3 years next October.
And you retired after 60 years there, didn't you? No, 60 years since you went there.
Yeah.
When did you retire? What age?
I wasn't 65. I was 64 in a few months.
Yes. So
Well, I'd just done me 50 years there, and I thought, that's me lot.
Yes. So that was 1986.
1986, yeah.
Yes. But it's been an interesting time.
Yes, I think so.
We started on some of the things which always strike me as being interesting, is having goods brought by boat. And can we go back to that again?
Yeah, well, that was very...
This is the foreign stuff.
The foreign stuff, yeah. Practically, everything come in by boat, really, because you hadn't got the lorries like you got today to bring wheat in by road. You didn't need it.
No.
All we got was somebody from... it was very amusing, that was. He used to come out, time I was on, just after the war, they used to take in all the wheat and everything. He used to come strutting Parkers on Wallasey, come in every Thursday morning, had 2,100 weight of oats, and we had to crush them, and he'd take them back. Now, he'd come in one Thursday, brought the oats, and we crushed them during the week, because my job in that day being that I was jack of all trades. I did a bit making animal food, if I wanted to help in the mill, shaking sacks and all sorts. And he'd come the following Thursday, bring another load of oats and take his ones back, which had been crushed.
Yes. What were they for?
Well, I reckon horses, crushed oats.
No idea how many horses he was having to...
Oh, no, no.
Because this is one of the changes that has happened, which you as a miller seem to have missed, because your lorries were never horse-drawn during your career.
No, no. Although...
Did you have other people bringing in things by horse-drawn?
From the farm, yes, we used to always bring horses. Our rankings all used to bring the wheat in when I was there by horse. 2 horses on a four-wheel wagon. They had a...
This is from their own farms?
Well, from their own farms, yeah. And they had carried them quarter wheats, which in those days wheat was in quarters.
Yes.
It was really, it's a measurement of bulk, really. It was weigh, you could weigh it, but a quarter, I think, was a measure of volume, you know.
Yes. Yes. It's one of these mysteries.
Yeah, see, now that's another funny thing. Now, English wheat is £504 to a quarter. Canadian is 496. Australian is 480.
And it's the same bulk, is it?
It's just the same bulk, yeah, different weight, you see.
Yes. It's just that I was thinking that I was expecting the harder wheat from abroad to be heavier, but it's not.
You'd think so, really, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Oh. Perhaps they have a different sort of system over there, I don't know.
The vessels that came up, you can remember, of course, the Thames barges.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah.
Can you remember any of the names of the boats and the captains, possibly?
Well, the one that comes to mind was the Lord Roberts, which was built. That was one of the few barges. While it was a sailorman, it only had 2 skippers. That was Tom White. He had kept the barge at Bellsbridge.
Yes.
And Bill Moss.
And they were the only two skippers of the...
They were the only two skippers of the Lord Roberts when it was under sail.
Yes.
Because latter part in 1950 or 51, they put a motor in the Lord Roberts. So that's ceased to be actually a sailing barge, really.
Did it use its sails even then? Or did it only use its motors?
Well, no, it used its sail sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. It depends, you see. They did shorten the topmast, which messed it up. Now, if they leave the topmast in and just have a motor, a sail helps the motor along.
Yes. And vice versa, when the sail is no use, the motor can take you against the tide.
Yeah.
So that was the Lord Roberts. What other boats?
The Joy was another one.
Yes.
And that once in a big boat. Well,
what sort of tonnage was these carry for you?
They both used to load, our freight used to be 600 quarter, which was 130 odd, 133 tonne I think. But the Joy didn't take so much, only we used to put 580 on there, because she didn't sail so well.
Yes. And where were they bringing it from? Because obviously they're not bringing it from abroad.
Oh no.
Where did they pick up their load?
London docks. Generally they picked the wheat up in the Victoria docks.
Yes.
But it depends on what ship it was. If the ship had wheat on the bottom and timber on the top, they go to the Surrey docks.
Yes.
But generally it was the Victoria docks. Because that used to be the dock where there were several mills in it, you see.
So they would bring out loads to you.
Yeah.
Now this is all very dependent on the tides as well as the wind. And
oh, wind and so, yes.
How did the tides affect you in the mill? Because you were presumably having to get loads at times which weren't necessarily convenient to you.
Well, it didn't really affect at all.
The shift system organised,
Yes, no.
One shift took it if it was in the morning and the other if it was in the afternoon.
Oh, we didn't have shift work unloading the boats.
You didn't?
No.
Was that a specialist job?
That was, yeah. I used to do that for a little while and all, in between times.
Yes. But as I say, they had to come in on the top of the tide.
Oh, yes.
Did you just take it out when it was convenient?
Well, no.
Or did you work to tides?
When I did it, I worked to get the boat out quick. So if the tides were midday, that was ideal, because you could unload a barge in a day and a half. Because you had to shift it, because that time of day there used to be a belt and bucket elevator. I think you used to just come straight down with the picture on the wall there, just come straight down the boat, and the wheat had to be brought to the bottom of the elevator.
Yes.
And you used to want two tides to do that, because you had to have a move in one part of the hold, then you had to shift to the middle hold, and then wait till generally the following day or next tide and have to move to the forehold.
So it was you and your millmen who were actually moving the ship around in the hold of the barge?
Yeah, I had to have two blokes with me doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was the job of the mill people, not of the barge master.
Oh no. He moved it. He used to move it sometimes, the boat, if I wasn't there. But that was their job to move it, because they like to tie it up properly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the grain was the mill.
Their mills, yeah. I believe now they have a boat in there. I believe the crew unload it because they haven't got the staff. See.
But that is done pneumatically again now? It's
done pneumatic now. It's pumped, sucked up a pump, yeah. But I think at last, I don't have to be repaired now. It could do 100 tonne an hour. You practically see the boat come up out the water.
And how many tonnes was that? Were those coasters?
Oh, 300 or 400.
Yeah. So that's sort of three or four times, or nearly four times.
Yes. A sailing barge didn't often have much more than 150 tonne. There were one or two used to hold more, but if they did, they'd draw more water and they could have to come up on certain tides, whereas these ones with 2 weeks could come up on a lowish tide.
Yes.
See, they only Lord Robertson and Joy only used to draw about 6 foot, 5 foot 10 of water.
Yes. So they could come through at what, half tide, as it were?
They could come through on the smaller. See, you've got two lots of tides, nip tides and spring tides.
Right.
Well, the spring tides come in the middle of the day, and the tides you gradually used to fall away till about 6 or 7 o'clock, and the tides weren't be so high.
Yes.
But you could, if you were lucky, you could get up,
Yes.
providing you had a pilot with you.
Well, did they not all have to have pilots?
Well, one that I remember used to do them all. He used to own the cherry tree, George Harvey,
Yes.
and he used to bring the sailing barges in. I suppose, I don't know if it was his job, or, well, to do that, or if it was an extra job because he used to own the cherry tree. Well, they didn't have the cars in those days to come out to the pub.
Yeah.
And he used to do that, I think, for a bit of extra money.
Yes. And where would they have picked up the pilot?
Well, it just depends if it's a boat that wants to... See, we had a lot of strange sailors, but what they call strangers, come from another firm. And if the tide was a bit dodgy, he'd probably go farther down the river and pick it up. He might go down to other side of Walden's, or I don't think he ever went to Pecklesham to pick a boat up, because he had a little motorboat.
You were talking about barges still.
Barges, yes. Yeah.
Now, that you said something then. The Joy and the
Lord Roberts
both belong to Rankins.
Oh, but yes, that's it.
But other firms, other barges came in as well.
Yeah, but they didn't. See, there used to be a lot of barge firms about.
Yes.
The Goldsmith at Grays was a big one, and Sully's in London, they had a lot. And also a firm, London Rochester Company in Kent.
But when did the barges finish?
I suppose early 1950s, I reckon.
And were they already being superseded by steel coasters?
Yeah, they were being altered, actually altered just after the war, because some barges were commandeered by the Air Ministry to carry barrage balloons down on in the Thames, and some also you would send up north. I think there's the hydrogen, Pudge, the cabby, something went up north to feed what they used to do, carry stuff from the shore to the ships when they're going to be there in convoy. I would sort of like carrying provisions, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did the Rankins ever own any of the steel
No.
boat coasters?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So they were all brought
Oh,
in.
yeah.
And where do they pick up their grain? From the same places or different?
Well, I don't suppose the latter part of the time they used the London docks, because I think they shut down now. I don't think there's much mills up there at all. The farthest way go now, I suppose, is Tilbury.
Yes. So they probably picked the grain up at Tilbury.
At Tilbury now, yeah.
Well, they weren't bringing it straight over from the continent by then.
Some were. It depends. See, they used to go over to the continent when we had a strike in London.
Yes. They went over there to the continent even then.
Yes, yeah.
But presumably certainly the Australian wheat would have come into London. What about the American wheat? Did that go to the continent and we pick it up from there at all?
It could have done, but Australian wheat, see, since we've been in the common market,
Yes.
all that's been hit on the head,
Yes.
because we have to pay a levy. You had to pay a levy of £20 a tonne every time we used to the common market. So that made the price of a loaf very dear, wasn't it?
So where is the wheat coming from today?
And most of it's English wheat.
So we're not bringing up, you're not at the moment bringing up any wheat by barge in the moment, are we?
Not at the present, no.
But I gather that is intended to change again.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
So I was thinking then they'll either have wheat from Tilbury or go across the continent to pick it up.
Yes. It's nice to know that some of the wheat is going to go back to water instead of by road.
Well, I think so, really. Because actually, that's the cheapest form of transport, really. Although, see, when I was there, even the governor asked me, he said, what's Run Ray do when there's no boat here? So the foreman said, Crocky's got enough to do without being sitting down all the time. So they wondered what, see, that part of the time they had 3 blokes that used to do the barges, unload them. But of course, when there was no barge there, they'd not got no work for them, was there?
So what happened to the men?
Well, they just done a bit of, no, they weren't laid off, but found something to do. I was hid up, read a book, did a bit of sweeping up.
Yes.
And that's where they sort of like cut down on it then. Well, there's 3 men doing idle because, I mean, you could unload a boat, one of them big ones, 3 or 4 hours.
Yes.
They had about 300 ton on.
So they would come in on the incoming tide and go out on the outgoing tide if they were quick, were they?
Yeah, well, no, weren't that quick. No, but...
what length of time was there available at the mills? What time?
Well, only once have I seen a boat
go out on the same tide?
Go up at the same time, yeah. I don't know how that happened, really. Yeah. They only had about, I think the boat was the, don't know if it's called a Lapid, come up, it only had 203 ton.
Yeah.
So it come up here alongside, it just managed to get in because the tide was not hard enough water for it.
Yes.
But it just fell in, everything went according to plan, and unloaded, and away he went about 5 o'clock.
Yes.
See,
they have to have time to turn round as well, don't they?
Oh yes, yes.
Which,
because being empty, he could swing round in
yes.
licks to nothing.
Was this always the case? They unloaded before they turned?
Oh yes, I had to.
Yes.
Yes. There's not many boats would try and turn round while they were still loaded.
Did any of them ever take out a cargo? Or was it always one way?
Oh no, we had one, used to do a regular job, really. It's, it was I think it was called a Joel, a Dutchman. Now it used to come, I don't know, say it went over to where we used to run, used to come from the continent with a load of tiles.
Yes.
Unload them somewhere at London, come onto our place, pick up a load of wheat feed pellets and take back to Norway or Sweden. And then they used to do that job so regular whenever the water was available. Then next time it'd come out, perhaps it'd just come straight down to Antwerp or Rotterdam, pick up wheat, come over here, unload it, and then take the pellets back.
Sounds good.
So
good planning.
it was good planning, yes, yeah.
And
But I don't know if it still does that now.
the mill obviously has to be geared up for both sucking it out and also delivering it, which is completely different.
Yeah, they got a different sort of a conveyor that for taking the wheat feed pellets out. You see.
Yeah.
We've got a. I mean, when you make the middlings, it goes into a bin, then it's pelleted.
Yes.
It's only just got steam on it and water and pelleted little things about the size of your finger, and then well, a couple of inches long, something like that.
Yes.
But they're in a bin, and then they either go out the road or wait till they got enough and have a boat to take them out.
And when do you think these pellets started as a product? Because that's another change you've mentioned, of course, which...
Oh yeah, I suppose that must have started in the 1970s.
1970s?
Yeah.
And apart from the wheat, what else were you selling in those days? You were selling animal feeds as well?
No, that stopped when we were taken over.
In 1961?
61, yeah.
Yes.
So all the wheat, all where we made wheat feed and barley meal, maize meal and all that was altered for the mill. So all that was chucked out, and that business I believe was transferred to somewhere at Brentwood somewhere.
So what happened to the offal then?
Well, all the offal was, it just went in the bins.
But what happened to that? Having got into the bins, what happened to it?
Well, that's after it's sold out to farmers. You see, all you had was millions and bran,
yes.
And that sold when they wanted it.
So the apart from the flour which was going off to the bakers, all the rest went off to local farmers.
Well, offal, but generally they were sold to big firms. I mean, it used to be one firm. Now it used to be one firm that used to come from, used to pick up a load of stone. They still running in now. Some transport, Clark's I think it is. Yeah. Comes to the West Country with stone or some fine aggregate, take over to the tarmac place over Purdy's farm,
Yes.
come down here to wheat feed for a load of wheat feed pellets, and go take back to West Country again.
Well, that's the pellets again.
That's the pellets, yeah.
But they did it when it was loose, if you like, rather than in pelleted form.
No, they didn't do it. No, they didn't behave like that then, because the pellets, it wouldn't be worth it.
No.
You couldn't get the weight, you see. 10 tonne of pellets take up less room what 10 tonne of ordinary offal does.
Yes.
See, they're combined.
But the old offal used to go, you said, to major big firms.
Yeah.
That was going out in what sort of containers? What sort of vehicles?
Sometimes it went in bulk, but other times it went in bags.
Yes. And they would then have turned into animal feed
Animal
somewhere else?
food, yes, yeah.
Yes. So it's a fairly major office operation, organising you people in the goods coming in and going out.
Yes, it was really, yeah.
So do you know how many people are working there now?
Haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
I think there's been so many changes.
Yes. Certainly their office side looks fairly well staffed.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, that what they do with the build next to the office now, they do their own testing.
Yes. For quality?
For quality, for flour, you see, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And how did you do your testing for quality in the days when you were the master of the rolls?
Well, actually you didn't have to start a test. You had